Hi, Iman. It's Barb Rainish. Did you ever, by chance, email me? And I'm asking because, well, first of all, can you hear me?
I hear you very well. Hi, Barb.
I
Happy Wednesday too.
lo-
I got to sit with Samir last night at Judith's retirement party, and we
Why
Oh,
would
chit
nice.
I
chatted.
not get invited to Judith's retirement party? Man, I feel left out.
I didn't get
Whoa.
invited. I crashed it.
Oh, wow. Is she still working?
No, but
Okay.
I need to get caught up. We're going to get together so I can see what her path is now.
you didn't see my message, so the subcommittee has 5 members. Pastor Weisner and Vanessa both gave notice, so slim pickings tonight. We'll see if Fosika is able to join us.
Actually, I got a message from Fosika letting me know just 5 minutes ago that she has a family emergency and can't make it tonight.
Okay, it's just a bad night. It happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, we'll use this time to work through what we can, and we might have to table some things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's the community engagement group. Maybe you should add some community to it to bolster your numbers. Who said that?
Yes. We're gonna be doing that, Barb. Don't worry. If you
Well,
build
not-
it, they will come.
Yes, agreed, Tia, but we're not going to be adding any community members as official members of the subcommittee, or at least
Right.
that's something I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But maybe
Okay, voting isn't important to me. Being able
All
to
right.
vote.
I think, yeah, we're a little, okay, so we just wanted to give a little time before we got started. So I think we're getting off track now. So we'll
Yeah.
get started. So I asked Iman to take the reins for this meeting to get a little experience with running the meeting. So I'm going to pass it over to him and Liz.
Great. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody.
Recording in progress.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And anyway, so welcome to the PCCEP Community Engagement Subcommittee meeting here for June 17th, 2026. My name is Iman Gassemi. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator here for PCCEP, and I'll be help facilitating tonight. And quick logistical notes before we begin. This is a public meeting, so it's going to be subject to Oregon Public Meetings laws. So our Zoom chat is open, and so if there's any questions or anything like that throughout the meeting, please feel free to chime in there. So as we go here, Liz, thank you so much for getting that there for us. So if the PCCEP members, if they would like to quickly introduce themselves, and then we'll go through city staff, PBB, the monitor, and then any members of the public. So for the PCCEP members, I'll pass it to you, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you, Iman. Do you want me to get started?
Yeah,
I'll
please.
jump in. My name is Tia Palafox. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm one of the co-chairs for the Community Engagement Subcommittee. And I'll pass it to Leslie.
Yeah, I'm Leslie Martinez. Hold on a second. I think my mic. This is the right microphone. I'm Leslie Martinez. I'm the other co-chair of the Community Engagement Subcommittee, and my pronouns are she, her.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tia and Leslie. And those are only PCCEP members here tonight. As Dory kind of mentioned, we have 3 people who are out for various reasons and all that. So any city staff, if they would like to introduce themselves, I can quickly get this started. My name again is Iman. I'll pass it to Dory.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dory. I am the PCCEP program manager, and I know Liz is here.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Liz Taylor, PCCEP program coordinator. She, her pronouns.
Sweet.
Thanks, Liz. And I'll just add quickly that we did let because PCCEP is mainly working on an internal document tonight, we did let the PPB liaisons know that they would not be needed for this meeting. So just to be transparent about that. Any other city people or monitor folks, if you'd like to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
Good evening, all. Antoinette Edwards, Associate Monitor.
Well, thanks for being
Hello.
here, Antoinette.
Thank you.
And hey, this is Mac with the Councilor Canal's office. I'm just listening in.
Hey.
Good to hear
Hello.
your voice. Thanks for joining. All right. And well, I mean, since we have such limited attendance tonight, maybe we could have introductions from any community members who are here who want to verbally introduce a special occasion.
Yes, perfect.
Any takers? Go ahead and jump in.
Barbara Boshinsky, Portland Cop Watch.
Hey,
Hey,
Barbara.
Hello.
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 Right. And anybody else feel free to chime in here or go in the chat and introduce yourself in the chat as well.
Debbie,
I don't know, Dory, I'm too shy. Hi, my name is Barb Rainish. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a PCCEP groupie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Debbie Iona, League of Women Voters of Portland, she, her.
Hi, Debbie.
Hello.
All right.
Great. So we can move on there. Perfect. We'll go with our community agreements. Leslie, do you mind reading the community agreements for us, please?
Yeah, sure. Listen actively and respectfully, share airtime, be present and open to new information and perspective, assume positive intent, respect each other, respect the group, speak your own truth, communicate directly, honestly, and respectfully, ask questions to clarify, call out bias, and be okay with ambiguity.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate that. So we're going to go over a couple main things tonight. We're going to have updates, which I'll quickly go over a few things, and then we're going to go over the PCCEP draft, and then we'll open up for comment after that as well. So yeah, let's get this started, please. So we'll go over here on update. So I'll go over a few things here for y'all. We'll start with can you I'll go over this graphic here in a moment. I'm going to go over quick general updates here. Over really the last couple weeks, my focus has been just being out in the community. Again, just increasing the awareness of PCCEP and who we are, like going to different resource fairs, like in Dawson's Park. There was a community peace collaborative meeting that mentioned the focus was being youth focused, especially with summer here now. And there was definitely a concern of like, what are youth going to be able to do? And so we're going to definitely talk about that youth perspective here in a few minutes. Myself and Tia participated. Thank you very much, Tia. And we were able to have a table at the Wear Orange Community Block Party. And the Wear Orange was a national event on recognizing gun violence and the importance of having preventative measures and all that. So we were able to go there. We were able to actually have a survey and conduct that. And so I'll go over, and those are those numbers there, but I'll go over what those numbers are, in a sense, what it's saying. I was able to go to the Multnomah Neighborhoods Association meeting, so I was able to definitely hear from the community regarding a big topic of the Multnomah Safe for Us Village. And so they'll talk more about that next week or 2 weeks from now. And so I'll definitely hear a little bit more back and just get a feel for that. And then I also had a virtual meeting with Seattle's Office of Police Accountability. I just wanted to introduce myself. I met with their outreach coordinator. So I just wanted to know that, what is it that they're doing and if there's anything that I can learn. And so, there was a program that came up, it was called Before the Badge. So I thought that was really interesting. So yeah. But with that said, I wanted to go over these numbers over here. So there was a block party that was held. And so we were able to collect 23 responses at this event. 61% of the respondents said they felt very or somewhat safe in their neighborhood. We were able to, there was a question that was asked, what is your trust in police, in local police? And that number came out to be a 6.4. Though that's also worth noting, there was a cluster of high scores between 8 and 10, and then there was several very low scores, 0 to 3. So there was definitely a divided community experience with that. And then I also had them choose like what are their top 3 issues and their concerns on that. And so, by a wide margin, as you can see there, gun violence was mentioned 21 times. And then drug activity and substance use came second, followed by houselessness and housing. And then most of the respondents came from Southeast and Northeast Portland. So this is just that graphic regarding that. So I just wanted to quickly just kind of go over those updates there with you all. I don't know if we can open up for any questions or anything like that. If anybody has anything to say regarding those updates.
I'll just add, so as Iman mentioned, he's getting out in community in various ways, and one of the things that he is starting to roll out is, as you see the results here, is kind of doing just like a quick survey with folks that he's able to engage with, and kind of, you know, get like sort of a general assessment of folks at that event or that neighborhood or whatever. And so that's something we'll do on an ongoing basis. And we plan to kind of collate all of that like per quarter. And so hopefully we'll have, you know, a good number of responses per quarter. And then that's like an input that you all will be able to use. So this is like literally just like the first time out doing it. So around 20 responses or so, not too bad.
And the other thing that we talked about doing this survey as we were watching people do it was the ages of the participants. There were youth that were like maybe 13 to 17, and then there were adults. So maybe writing on the survey like age range, so we know if they were youth or not. Because I thought that'd be an interesting demographic to track.
Yeah, as kind of what Tia mentioned, this is obviously it's an ongoing and evolving thing that we're doing here, and so it's a lot of trial and error just to see what hits and what doesn't hit. So
Yeah.
this was definitely a good starting point for us, and on getting that feedback. And we noticed that pretty much most folks that we went up to kind of mentioned they were very open to be able to talk about it. So we're looking forward to being able to do that as pretty much as often as we can when we're out in the community. So yeah, so those are those there. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to chime in or go ahead and put anything in the chat as well. Great. And if not, we can go to next slide. Fantastic. So when we met a few weeks ago for the steering committee, you know, they came up with two plans. One was coming up with creating the PCCEP community engagement plan, which we'll go over here later this evening. And then was also to have outreach and engagement, so which kind of what Dory was mentioning a little bit earlier. So for this quarter here, we did mention two events, where one in July was going to be focused for youth, and then we were going to have another one in August in District 1. So right now we want to go over the youth event that is quite tentative, is just is an idea that that we are toying with here. So so I kind of want to go over that, and then yeah, then we'll have a quick little discussion on that one, and then we'll move over to our main topic here tonight. So so this is called the Summer Youth Fest 26. So this is in partnership with Dream Big City. This is an organization that transforms underused spaces, and they make it into a very safe, alcohol and drug-free community. And they do multiple community events throughout the summer and throughout the year. They were actually one of the partners for the Wear Orange program that we were with. They have a location off 9th and Taylor in Portland, and where they have skateboard ramps, they have basketball court, and they do music, art, food, and just an overall connection with folks who, to be honest with you, who normally probably wouldn't be at, like, say, an event where it's listening sessions or anything like that. So this is a great way to be able to connect with these youth and to get their feedback with that. So really the event goals are really just to increase that youth awareness regarding that. If we can go to the next slide, please, Liz. Thank you. So really the event goals, we just want to increase youth awareness of PCCEP. You know, it is summertime, and so we really want them involved in whatever ways that we can, and just to let them know that PCCEP is available, and just to know that if they are interested in joining at a future time, but just where we can just continue spreading that message. So this will allow us to create direct opportunities for youth voices to be heard about public safety, build community like relationships, and just be able to collect feedback that we can inform PCEP discussions. So we talked about planned activities, and which include like a community block party atmosphere. That's something where we figured that how about we not invent the wheel, and if this is something that this organization is already doing, let's just take advantage of the great work that they're doing on that. So where we were thinking of, like I said, having that block party atmosphere, having the skateboarding, having existing ramp, which they already have those ramps on site, having a basketball activity, like I said, having live music and a DJ, maybe having a youth DJ, and then having like a brief open mic acknowledgement and PCEP introduction, and then obviously having free food through their partnership on that one there. So, Liz, if we go to the next slide, please, regarding, yeah, perfect, thank you. So for PCEP's engagement side, we are planning to have an engagement station where attendees can voluntarily complete a short public safety survey. So, and also kind of what Tia mentioned, maybe having one specifically for youth, and then maybe having one for a little bit older. Obviously, we can talk about that one as we get closer to the event. But being able to get their feedback on that one and then have that youth perspective, but then being able to, in return, give like an IC or something like that for their feedback. If not, it doesn't make a difference. But overall, we just want to be able to hear from these kids, and additional PCEP members could also circulate throughout the event and just really have informal conversations and strengthen community awareness. I've spoken with Dory on how we can be creative on being able to get their feedback. So one of the things, that could also be done is community members can be able to walk and be able to speak with folks, and you can, if they feel comfortable enough, to be able to go and do a quick little video message or video recording, right? And you can really be able to hear it from them and their voice and their passion regarding public safety. So these are all just ideas that we've kind of discussed. And so that's really where I would love to have your input regarding this. We'd love to have the subcommittee feedback about the structure, about the activities, about the youth engagement strategies, survey questions, all that great stuff. So, so yeah, I'll pass this along to the conversation here to the room, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Barbara had a good question.
Yeah.
She says, how do you get your contacts or decide which events to go to?
Oh, that's actually a great question. So, and actually, if we can get off the screen share here, please, Liz, thank you. Much appreciated. I actually met, so some of you may know or may not know, my previous role was I was the youth service manager for the city of Gresham. I oversaw all youth related activities, which included a youth violence prevention initiative. And so I was able, in my 4 years in Gresham, I was able to meet a lot of community members. So regarding Alex and Dream Big, it was about 2-3 years ago. I met with a community member that did a lot of great stuff, and they were like, you know what, there's a really great gentleman by the name of Alex. I think you two would mesh really well. And he mentioned that they do a Fam Jam event out in Portland. It was around near 50th and Division. So I went out there, spoke with him, and so that's how I was able to make contacts. So a lot of times it's just being able to make connections with that. And so yeah, so that's how a lot of it is just through word of mouth, but and also just like I said, for my previous role, I know a lot of the community-based organizations around here, especially on the youth side. So that's how we're able to make that work. So thank you for that question, though.
Can I also add on that like right now, especially as you're kind of establishing relationships, we are definitely, from what I understand, you are really attending any and all events that you can at the moment. And we are open to suggestions always as to events that, we may not be aware of. We can always take those and see if we can attend. And then I think the goal right now is to like really just get boots on the ground, start building those relationships. And then as we continue this effort, then we can start figuring out what events make sense to continuously attend, if they're like recurring events and things like that. So, but right now, if there are other events in the community that we're not aware of, we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Leslie. It's summertime, right? So there are a lot of events that are happening. So, and again, I want to continue. I've reached out to neighborhood associations and all that great stuff. So, with that all said, but regarding like this youth event here, I would love to hear any feedback. Are you any questions that you all might have regarding the structure, and all that? I would like to say we are meeting with Alex and the team on Friday. We'll be going to his site and actually walking through there and just kind of getting a feel for that and just kind of going over logistics. So we'll have a little bit more information of and all that. He kind of gave us a couple options on that one there. So yeah.
Cool. For that meeting, is that something that if committee members are available, they can attend?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think that would be great if you can extend that invitation.
Absolutely. I'll pass that along, and because I was able to speak with him earlier this afternoon regarding that. And so, I'm a visual person. So for me, I think having that walkthrough would be great on that.
Totally. Yeah. And then I think, I think one thing that would be even cool is just like putting that event. It is the date of July 25th pretty set.
We're going to be talking. That's the big part of it, is that we're talking. He has flexibility on that date, but he also has a weekly event that he does throughout the summer, and it brings out a lot of folks. So it's one of those. It's like maybe there's no need to change something. Just jump on regarding that. The reason that we also picked regarding this conversation as well. The reason why we picked late July was it's the World Cup going on right now, and we know that the World Cup is doing a fantastic job of bringing communities and everything together. This is why we're doing this event as well, is to bring communities and all that together. And the main final is on July 19th. So obviously there's a lot going on all the way to July 19th for community wise. So that's why our thought was doing something after July 20th and all that. So that's one of the things that we talked about. So it could either be July 21st, 25th, or maybe even 28th. So it's one of those three, and that's one of the things we'll talk, and Dory and I will get that shot.
Yeah, I actually wanted to hear perspective from the subcommittee about Saturday versus Tuesday opportunities before we lock anything in. Yeah, do you have any thoughts about that? Because we're gonna be looking at that soon.
Yeah, I prefer a Saturday to a Tuesday, because I think like that is going to that's just more open availability on a personal level, and maybe more engagement opportunity for community members as well. So personally, I would vote for a Saturday, but open to whatever the committee feels is better.
Are these during daytime, Simon, or
No,
evening?
they're in the evening. So the Fam Jam on Tuesdays are from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then the proposed one for the 25th was from 5 to 8:30. And the reason for that is just because it's later in the summer and it's, quite warm throughout the day. And so we figured let's do it on the tail end of the day where it starts cooling down a bit.
Although I will say, like 5 p.m. tends to be like peak heat. So I'm like, I don't know how actually that works out temperature wise, but no, I get the rationale. Yeah, I had thought that they were more during the day. Seeing as it's an evening, then for me it's equal Tuesday or Saturday.
Okay.
For me, Saturdays are best, but evenings are nice. Thursday evenings are nice, except I'm the co-chair for the Portland Equity Advisory Council on Tuesday nights. So that would be, I really couldn't do a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think we were kind of wondering less from a personal availability standpoint and more like gauging your feelings about like engagement levels.
Okay.
committee capacity is a part of it for sure.
Okay.
But like, yeah, just kind of like getting a temperature check. But it sounds like overall there's flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall there's flexibility. But yeah, I don't know. I do think like a Saturday might be a little bit more, might be a little bit better for the community, because that does feel like more of a fun activity, less after work type thing.
Okay, great. So here's what we'll do. I think Iman and we're gonna meet with this organization soon, and we'll get more information for you about like what they do on Tuesdays typically versus what they do on Saturdays, and then we'll nail something down as soon as we can.
That's awesome. And the reason that I ask about the date is just whenever it does get confirmed, I think it would be really good to make sure, I'm sure you were already planning to do this, but make sure that there's a calendar invite for that event that gets sent out to the broader committee. That way, committee members have it on their calendar, even if it's just to participate as an optional invite.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, I appreciate that comment there. And so, and that I think the goal is to get that all settled. One to get your all feedback on that Tuesday, Saturday, and then being able to speak with them on Friday, and then pretty much being able to come up with a plan right after that to get that there, because I think the messaging is so important to make sure folks have enough time to be able to plan for that and not spur anything there at the last minute.
I see Barb's hand is up. Are you available to listen to Barb?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll pass on Barb here in 1 minute here. I just want to make sure if there's anything else from Tia and Leslie, if there's anything else you want to mention about this, and if not, then we'll turn to Barb.
Yeah, I think it just sounds like a great event. Thank you for the work and the effort to put it all together. And yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, then, if nothing else, then Barb, please. And you're on mute.
Still on mute?
My mouse thing is becoming a pain in the ass, and I think everybody needs to learn to read lips. Anyway, just for me. I had a couple of ideas. I put them in the chat. I hate doing that, but I did it for you guys. So if I was Dory and Iman, and maybe this is your plan anyway, I really would really want to see like what the programming for the month kind of thing looks like, to try to figure out like do they only usually do something on Tuesdays? Do they often have a special event on Saturdays? That kind of thing, and that might help you. The other thing I was thinking is creating a flyer or stupid scan thing, Leslie. They don't work for me, but they work for the kids.
Oh, the QR code.
Yeah, that. Thank you for saving me. And be there Tuesday. Have a couple people be there. A couple of PCCEP people be there Tuesday, handing out flyers promoting both PCCEP and the event Saturday, assuming that the event is on Saturday. Otherwise, I might suggest going the Tuesday a week before, but I'm not sure that people have that long of a memory. Thank you for listening to me.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Barb. Quick answers on that one. They do special events every month, and so that's why we're thinking of one. Do we have our own special event because they do have July 25th available in their calendar, or do we just jump on that Tuesday that they have because that's what the community already knows. Community in that area and the folks that they work with, they already know that every Tuesday from 5 to 8. 9th and Taylor, that's the place to be. So that's why, we were kind of think, do we reinvent the wheel or do we chime in on that? I do love the idea of going there on Tuesdays. I do plan to be there on certain Tuesdays, and just to be able, as we lead up to that, just because I enjoy being there and being able to talk with the community. And they have a very strong social media presence as well, where as we get closer and we have a flyer and all that, we'll make sure that they post that on their social media team to make sure that that gets passed along, and as well as we will as well, so we can have multiple angles to be able to spread that message. So I do appreciate those comments. Thank you for that.
They're free.
Anything else? Great. If not, we can bring the slide back and we can go to the next one. Perfect. Thank you, Liz. So we wanted to kind of go over a review of the PCCEP community engagement plan. So this is just a draft right now. And so this is our main agenda item here for this evening. And so
yeah, and I think just because I don't know if I had mentioned this to you, Iman, but I think I was hoping that Leslie and Tia could speak to their thoughts
sure.
on the purpose, and then we can check in about how we want to engage with this document.
Yeah, for sure. Done.
So Leslie and Tia, if you want to speak to the first one here.
Yeah, I can definitely kick it off, and then Tia can add anything that she feels that I may have missed. But yeah, so one of the items coming out of the settlement agreement or the steering committee was that one of our focus areas is to create a community engagement plan, as we discussed, I think, last meeting. And the purpose of it is really to kind of create a framework for how we will do community engagement as a committee, knowing now that we have this great resource in Iman, and then just really create that framework to guide our work so that it's purposeful, it's directed or focused is a better word. And so that is really the goal for the plan. So it's not meant to really be a mission statement. It's meant to be a very concrete, like, these are the things that we will be doing in an effort to engage the community for a specific result. And so tonight, we put in a bunch of notes. Dory and team created a draft for us to review. We've been reviewing and adding comments along the way. And tonight's meeting is really just for us to review the current draft, similar to how we typically do our recommendation reviews, so that we can provide comment and the idea was more committee members provide comment throughout the review process, that then Dory and team can take and finalize the document for us, so then we can start using it as our plan for engagement. So that's what I think most of this meeting will be. Tia, anything that you want to add? You're muted.
Thank you. The plan does have a lot of the how and what we're doing. Not really usually there's a mission and goals, but we are doing more how and what's, and the process is more important to us, but outcomes are also listed. But it's more about the process than the outcome as we're building relationships. But this shows the plan and how we're going to do that.
I also wanted to check in with you guys about, I guess this is a little bit about the process piece. So per your bylaws, you only need to take formal votes in full committee to approve recommendations. It is kind of at your discretion when it comes to these internal documents, how you want to handle that. So something that you should decide on is if you envision this being a document approved mainly just by this subcommittee, or if it's something that you want to refer to full committee for their review and approval.
I have an opinion on that, but Tia, do you want to go first?
Well, I really want all the feedback and approval of this community engagement subcommittee, but of course I'd love to hear all ideas, and I don't personally feel like we have to have a formal vote for the plan, but I definitely hope that we can get everyone's feedback and agreement to move forward with it, is my first thought.
And I agree with that. I think because this plan, it is a community engagement plan, so it makes sense for us and the community engagement committee to build it and, you know, get it to the point. But I kind of do see it as a recommendation process because ultimately it dictates the community engagement of all of PCEP, especially I didn't have that opinion
True.
until I read it. And, you know, we do reference other pieces in there, like how we interact with policy and reform, how we interact with steering and full committee. So I would like to open it up to at least once we feel like it's finalized, get their review, you know, for any additional comments and like just vote to approve it.
Okay, I can agree with that.
But that's my perspective. Kip?
Yeah, I think the idea that we had last year when we were talking about process and how things move through the flow, I think I would like to see like all the development and deciding what to work on and everything else. That doesn't have to be any kind of formal thing, but if it's going to advance to policy and reform or to full committee, I think having a vote of the subcommittee makes a great deal of sense to keep it moving forward, as opposed to just making a couple people making a decision saying, yeah, we'll just move this forward. So I think having the subcommittee weigh in makes sense to me.
Sorry, Kip. So like what I guess to clarify my position, I think as a subcommittee, the community engagement subcommittee, like we all, you know, vote on the final or like we all agree that this is the final document and then it should go to full committee for like, I guess, final approval.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could go to full committee for final approval, but I'm saying to get out of subcommittee, yeah, you would have a vote. I'm essentially agreeing with you. But
Okay, cool.
there could be, I want to, like I've said previously, I think being overly prescriptive of everything is challenging, and there are things that you guys might work on that might need to be workshopped through policy and reform or vice versa, right? So it's not always just a straight line to full committee necessarily.
I see that. I don't see this document as being one of those because it does I think once we get into the review of the document, you'll see very clear, but I don't think it should go to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was saying in general. I wasn't thinking just this document. So anyway, all good.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. I think we're aligned there that like this subcommittee, which I guess like my hope out of today was for us to do the document review, for us to like basically agree on the changes that we would make and then create that final draft and like kind of like vote to approve it with changes. But seeing as Tia and I are the only subcommittee members here, I'm wondering, does that mean that then it has to wait for a vote?
Well, I would say that because you have no formal rules governing that process for this type of document, I would hate to see it stuck here for another 3 months because you don't have another member present. So I think there might be ways you could resolve that and check in with folks and get there. Just see if you're on the same page outside of this context, because you are not strictly beholden to any process for it. I'll just throw that out there.
I was going to say our bylaws don't require a particular quorum for subcommittee votes, just for full committee is my understanding. So, but yeah, I think what Dory said makes a lot of sense.
I think that I don't want to get into a whole bylaws thing here. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they
Do
do.
they?
Yeah, but what is not required is a formal vote of any kind on documents like this one. Because
Okay,
this is a document we're creating from scratch. It's not the bylaws, it's not the PCEP plan, it's not a formal recommendation. Those are the things we have rules about. This is just like a governing document you're creating for yourselves from scratch.
okay.
Yeah. So I guess, Leslie, based on what you were saying in that plan, I guess you can see, we can get into it now, and then you can see kind of where you feel at the end of this discussion, and if you want to ask full committee to consider, hearing it in full committee.
Okay.
Great. Okay. So I'll pass back to Iman. He's gonna lead this, and with support from you guys, of course. Kip, I think since you're here, we'd like to hear your thoughts as well. And yeah, Iman. So Iman's gonna
Yep.
kind of, well, let's talk about how you guys want to go through the document.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Dory. And thank you, Liz. Give me a second. I find the document here. There we go. Make sure y'all can see that.
Mhm.
Great, fantastic. So would it be easier for all of us just to go section by section and then just discuss it that way? Would that be easiest for everybody?
Yes, and then for accessibility, I think it's good for us, like for you, Iman, if you can, to like read it
Yeah.
out loud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And stop after every section and talk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Great.
You got it. So
Iman, can you zoom in just a tiny bit for folks online?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Excuse me.
Is it helping on the Zoom?
Yeah, that's good.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's better.
Excellent. Perfect. So this is the PCEP community engagement draft. So we'll start with section 1, which is the purpose. This document establishes PCEP's standard approach to community engagement. It is intended to create consistency across the committee structure, preserve institutional knowledge, and ensure that community input is systematically incorporated into PCEP's work. The plan serves as an operational guide for members and staff and will serve as the default framework for planning, conducting, documenting, and utilizing community engagement activities. So really my question here for the group is, and would it be easier for me just to share and then stop share, or just
No,
keep this up?
keep sharing. I think
Just
it's
keep
good.
sharing. Okay, you got it. Does this section clearly like kind of define what community engagement should mean for PCEP, or do we feel if there's something that's missing here just for the purpose?
I actually
me,
have a question.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the first paragraph under the committee structure, I'm sorry, I know I should know this, but I feel like it should be subcommittee, because isn't this the community engagement subcommittee's plan?
It's for the whole committee.
Oh, the
Yeah,
entire.
so
PCEP.
it's dictating how and that's part of the reason why I am for having the vote in full committee, because it does dictate how the community engagement will be as PCEP.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that, so that makes sense to me now.
No, that was a
Thank
great question.
you.
Thanks for the question, Tia.
So to me, the purpose is clear. I don't have any
Yeah.
edits to it. Tia?
Okay.
No, me neither.
Okay. Fantastic. So then we will go here to section 2, which is community engagement objectives. So the objectives is broken down into 4 different parts. So we'll go to the first one, A, which is gather community input, which is to collect perspectives, lived experiences, and priorities from community members. Particular emphasis will be placed on input from those historically impacted by policing and public safety policies. including communities identified by the U.S. for City of Portland Settlement Agreement. PCEP will aim to engage a broad cross-section of Portlanders and collect diverse input to inform committee work. B, increase availability, provide a variety of opportunities and modalities for participation, so engagement is not limited to attendance at monthly meetings, which may be unknown by or inaccessible to many communities. C, inform PCEP's work, translate community input into actionable themes, information sharing opportunities, and PCEP recommendations will help improve PPB and city policy and practices in a manner that reflects public priorities. And D, preserve institutional memory, document engagement activities, engagement strategy activities, and reoccurring themes. So information is retained beyond individual members or staff and can inform future iterations of the committee. So let me make a little bit smaller so all 4 of these can come up on here. And I'll make it bigger in a second here again. So, so these are the 4 here. So do these objectives kind of reflect what we actually want from community engagement to accomplish, or are there other priorities we should be naming explicitly?
What do people think about where it says in Section A, communities identified by the U.S. versus City of Portland Settlement Agreement? Should we describe who those communities are?
I saw that comment, and my perspective on this is because if we describe them here, like, I think, what do you think about hyperlinking to that document so that there's a reference to it, but we don't, make this overly long?
Okay.
So like where it says impacted, or where it names the settlement agreement, we can just we can link to it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
There we go. Get that out of the way there. So great. I like the hyperlink idea for that.
So the U.S. versus City of Portland, the settlement agreement, we can hyperlink. Or if there's a better place to hyperlink, but just because.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Leslie.
Go ahead, Kip. Kip, I saw.
I was just going to say, I think the hyperlink makes sense, especially when the settlement agreement language was extremely specific and community engagement is going to be even broader than that too. So.
Yep. Cool. I think the only other comment that I had on this is like increasing accessibility, or one of the things that this section doesn't cover for me yet is like our focus on or a focus on increasing participation in, or like community input into PCEP, or like a community understanding of what PCEP is and like what it does. I don't know if that could fall into accessibility, or maybe that's not. I'm kind of going back and forth because like the reason to do that is to get all of these things, the community input and stuff like that. So I'm maybe thinking it doesn't belong here, but I do think, but I just wanted to like get the thought out there and discuss. Because
so what I'm hearing is to have maybe something on there regarding success measures or something similar. I know that later in the draft here that we do talk about that in the data collection, but maybe it is important to be able to have at least something in there that mentions about success.
Well, there was, but it was moved down to outcomes.
Well,
to keep
no,
it.
I
Yeah,
thought what I heard Leslie say was just like another section that says increase awareness about PCEP, basically, right?
pretty
So-
much, yeah. And I don't know if it's
Right.
its own section or if it's something that can be rolled into one of these sections, but like, yeah, increase awareness about PCEP as a committee. Because you're right, that could be a success metric, but I think it's also part of like what we're trying to do here with community engagement.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Leslie.
But that's all that I saw in that section for me. And then I think I didn't see any comments from anybody else.
Okay, thank you. If no other comments, I can continue reading.
Yep.
Great. So let me increase this there. Great. So we'll go into section 3 here, which is engagement methods. So as a body, PCEP serves different overlapping functions that impact the methods of engagement. This can range from being a conduit of information to providing informal advice on policies to making formal recommendations requiring action by PPB and the mayor. PCEP will utilize different engagement methods depending on the purpose of the activity. PCEP should utilize multiple methods to reach different audiences. So we'll go over these 4 different purposes and then the methods here. So one is to inform, which is through presentations from city leadership, website content, educational materials, social media, newsletters. Consult, listening sessions, surveys, public comment, focus groups, facilitating connection between community and city leadership. Involve, reoccurring community forums, roundtables, ongoing relationships with community organizations, and collaborate. Joint discussions and co-development of recommendations to mayor and PPB with community stakeholders. So here on section 3, so this is, one, which is particularly important, right? So this has our 4 approaches. So I would love to hear from our members. Do you feel like PCEP should prioritize deeper collaborative engagement, or do these categories strike the right balance here of inform, consult, involve, collaborate?
The only thing that I felt was missing here is in the inform section. I do feel like overall inform, consult, involve, and collaborate are 3 good, I guess, like pillars, I would say, of our collaborative process. The inform piece I think is missing like community organizations or like presentations from community or city leadership, but sometimes that can also be from community organizations or community interest groups and things like that. So I wanted to discuss that before adding it. Like if that is something folks feel like how do folks feel about potentially adding that? Because I feel like that's something we can do.
Great.
And the way that I've been reading this, just to like help anyone reading this for the first time, is like the purpose is to inform by presentations from city, like, by like, or via website content, via educational materials, via social media. The purpose is to consult by or via listening sessions, surveys. So like that's how I kind of read it, so that it made narrative sense to me for folks that may need that. Tia, you're muted.
When we talk about presentations from city leadership, are we talking about bringing city leadership into PCEP space? Are we providing an avenue for community to hear city leadership where they're at?
I think like that's up to us. So like right now, I think we're with this section, we're like, I guess to answer your question, yes, it can be either. Like I think we're always like going to want to be in community with people. But I think with this, what we're saying is like, for our community engagement, like we've identified these kind of 4 purposes for community engagement can fall under, and one of them would be to inform, and that is like inform the community via presentations from city leadership wherever they are. But that's where I think like this section is missing, like inform the community via presentations from other community groups. It doesn't just have to be city leadership.
And when we say city leadership, are we referring to city council or the mayor, like just an administration? Who are
Yeah,
we referring to as city leadership?
I read that as very broad.
Yeah.
And then kind of an umbrella of like all of the above. City leadership, including, potentially council members, also, the community safety folks, as well as, even PPB, they do come and present on their reports and things like that. So maybe, yeah, you're right, that could be a little bit better defined, but I kind of read it as an umbrella term for like all of the above.
Thank you, Leslie. Any other feedback? Kip? What do you think?
I don't really have anything to add to it. I think I like inform, consult, involve, collaborate. I think that covers things nicely. It also sounds like the beginning of a not great rap song, but anyway.
I see. Inform,
Um,
consult, involve, collaborate.
I just thought of something. I'm
Tia,
sorry, I didn't hold
what's
my
up?
hand.
No, you're good, Tia. Please, the floor is yours.
Well, it could also be under involved, but I'm thinking about being active, like activities, like where do we put in that we're in events and doing outreach? Is that part of involved? Community forums, recurring,
I can see that.
I'm thinking out loud, activity or active action. Like maybe it's under involve that we're
Great.
in the parks, we're at events, we're going into other people's spaces.
Great. So, thank you for that, Tia. Appreciate that. So if there's nothing else, then we will move on to the next section.
Just to confirm though, the city leadership umbrella does include, I mean, maybe I was thinking of it too broad to include like PPB.
It absolutely includes PPB,
Yeah.
just technically speaking, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think there was a comment in the chat about making that explicit. Cool.
Great. If nothing else, we'll move on to.
Sorry, where did we land
No.
on adding community organizations to inform? Presentations from community organizations and city leadership. Why can't I say those 2 words together?
I think that's a good common sense addition there, in my view.
On the community.
Yeah, community organizations.
You got it.
Cool.
All right. Great. Next section. So engagement commitments. To ensure consistency, PCCEP will maintain the following engagement activities as a baseline. A, monthly. PCCEP full committee meetings with opportunities for public comment to shape committee decision making. 2, Community engagement subcommittee meetings. The majority of these subcommittee meetings will be engagement opportunities held in community with occasional working meetings to review subcommittee work and perform housekeeping. Quarterly, at least one quarterly focused engagement event each quarter. At least one community focused engagement event each quarter. Quarterly PCEP steering committee meetings to establish committee priorities, including engagement, opportunities for public comment to shape priorities. And 3, report from community engagement subcommittee presenting findings and themes from quarterly engagement and outreach activities. Lastly, C, ongoing continuous participation in community events and meetings in an outreach capacity. 2, continued relationship building with community-based organizations and stakeholder groups. And 3, regular use of asynchronous engagement tools, including surveys, website updates, newsletters, social media to inform about relevant issues and share PCEP work. So yeah, we'll pass this along to y'all. Let me minimize this a little bit. See how much I can fit.
I think the only comment that I want to address on here is B3, and that was report from community engagement subcommittee presenting findings and themes from quarterly engagement and outreach activities. There's a comment on here that maybe it doesn't belong here as it's more of an output than like an engagement commitment. And I think I agree with that. Tia, how do you feel? And so, you know, moving this to the outputs, if I think it's already in there though. So I guess we would be kind of removing it.
Yeah, I do see it more as a in the output or then what's the like the
like a
result.
deliverable.
Yeah. And can you remind me, my brain's not thinking, what the timeline is for quarterly? Every
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. Okay, that sounds about right. Okay.
Yeah, so I would say I would put a note on that, Iman, that's like remove if already in like noted in inputs.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. Thank you, Leslie. And Tia?
But I think that pretty much covers in that section, our engagement commitments.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, our monthly commitments. I mean, I think it makes sense, but I just kind of want to ask the question because obviously in the monthly commitments, we note the full committee meeting and we note the subcommittee meeting, but we don't note the community engagement subcommittee meetings, but we don't note the policy and reform subcommittee meetings. And I feel like that was intentional, but if it wasn't, and it makes sense to not include it, but if it wasn't, then because they also do have public comment.
The only reason I didn't put it there is because technically I was trying to keep it consistent with the rest of our documents, and so technically it's only required that the full committee meet each month. Like that is like the baseline like meeting requirement. So I figure we don't want to like commit ourselves to having policy and reform every month if sometimes we don't, which we generally do, but that was why.
Okay, I see. I'm good with that.
Great question on that one though, Leslie. Appreciate that. All right, if nothing else, thank you all for that. And we can go to number 5, Community Engagement Subcommittee.
Yay.
The Community Engagement Subcommittee is responsible for coordinating, executing, and synthesizing PCEP's community engagement activities. A, core responsibilities include number 1, hosting regular engagement opportunities in community spaces. 2, building relationships with priority stakeholders. 3, planning and participating in outreach activities. 4, reviewing and synthesizing community input. 5, identifying reoccurring themes and emerging issues. And 6, reporting findings to other parts of PCEP. And then we have B, integration with PCEP workflows. The subcommittee should coordinate closely with Policy and Reform Committee and Steering Committee so that community engagement informs policy discussions rather than operating as a separate work stream as follows. Number 1, full committee, monthly updates, bring any recommendations for a vote. Policy and Reform Subcommittee, submit quarterly synthesis reports to Policy and Reform Subcommittee, consider any engagement requests from Policy and Reform Subcommittee. And number 3, Steering Committee, submit quarterly synthesis report to Steering Committee and enact quarterly engagement priorities as determined by the Steering Committee. So I will pass it again to you all. And yeah, Tia, I see your hand up there, so please.
It's really minor, but under core responsibilities, so A2, for some reason, like key stakeholders a little more than priority stakeholders.
Okay.
Priority just seems like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what I'm thinking. Like, well, other people feel like they're not priority. Like, we have a key group of stakeholders. I don't know. I'm just, again, thinking out loud. It just caught my eye.
No, that's a great question.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then I'm also, this is probably not the time, but Leslie and I will really need to work on how we're going to, I can't move this sheet. If you go down to B, and then all the work we're going to do, full committee, with all the subcommittees, how we will 100% realistically do all of those things. I mean, I'm so excited to, but I wonder if we're going to have checklists and how we'll work together to do this with our team. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I have a question. Well, I definitely have thoughts on that, and I think we will definitely need to coordinate because, like, we'll need to have like a schedule for like creating that synthesis and providing it to the subcommittee, the steering committee, well ahead of that meeting. So we're gonna have to develop timelines around that.
Right.
I did also have some thoughts around this as well because so the full committee, I too, like in subsection B, bring any recommendations for a vote. I thought that per our process, the recommendations should be coming from Policy and Reform. So I wasn't sure if this, so maybe I misunderstood. So if this is like maybe more of like an infrequent thing that we can do, but I thought per the process that we had established, that would be more of a Policy and Reform role.
Yeah, this is again a consistency thing. So the bylaws say that, subcommittees can develop recommendations. So I think that is generally what has been discussed, Leslie. But, if down the road or if at any point you guys are like, this is a really clear, I don't know, whatever happens.
Right.
So that's why I put any recommendations, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that might have been the case, but I was just wanting to confirm that like the expectation isn't for this committee to be creating recommendations. And I think that addresses some of your concern, Tia, of the like workload.
Yeah.
Same thing with B, like the section B, I1, or sorry, 2. Double I1. I'm not sure how to refer to that.
I know.
Yeah, the numbers got crazy.
Yeah. Lowercase Roman numeral. But anyways, the subcommittee quarterly synthesis report to Policy and Reform Subcommittee. I just wanted to confirm, is this intended to be the same report that is going to steering? Because I wasn't under the impression that we needed to create a report for Policy and Reform Subcommittee.
That's a good catch. Yes, that is the intention, but we should change the wording so it's clear that it should. Oh, wait, no. Well, I think the wording. So, quarterly synthesis report. I think I say the same. I wrote the same thing for steering committee.
Yeah.
So my sort of vision was like, you just send that to everybody and be
Okay.
like, please look at this. You know. So same report. Yes.
Yeah. So submit. Okay. Quarterly synthesis. This is the same report. Cool. I just wanted to confirm that.
And maybe we can come up with a form that we use to I can't think of the a form or just an outline of how we're going to create that each time it's due.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree with you, Tia. I think having a format is going to be important.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think further on where it talks about like kind of the performance measures, we could definitely base whatever the format is on that, because we document there like what, you know, performance measures. But
okay. Yeah, that'll be something to work on. Okay.
Right.
So with that, I'm good.
Cool. Thank you, Leslie. Tia?
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Good.
Great. Let me expand that a bit. All right. Our next section here, roles and responsibility for staff. Staff are responsible for implementation and administration, including event planning and logistics, outreach and communications, accessibility accommodations, maintaining community partnerships, tracking engagement metrics, preparing summaries and reports. Members may support these activities, but they are to be considered as staff responsibilities. Now, for the members are responsible for strategic leadership, including establishing engagement priorities, participating in community outreach, building relationships with stakeholders, and interpreting community input, incorporating engagement findings into PCCEP recommendations and discussions. Staff facilitate engagement, members participate in engagement activities, provide direction, and utilize engagement findings in PCCEP's work. Yeah, would love to hear that feedback now, please.
I like all of it. I also really appreciate, I mean, this doesn't need to be written in. I just am saying, I really appreciate when staff does ask us members for our opinions and feedback. Is where like I feel like we are one big team when looking at staff responsibilities. So I just appreciate that. And I appreciate under it says members may support these activities.
I think by and large, I'm good with this. I think the only thing, I know that we have members may support these activities, but what do we think about adding a bullet that explicitly calls out that staff, another staff responsibility is to notify PCCEP members of events? Because I think that's a key, like, you know, that's already been happening, but I think documenting it, that way we could participate. And yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that, Leslie.
That was my only note or comment on that section.
Sweet. All right. If nothing else, we'll go increase the size. Okay. All right. We'll go to the next section here. Standard outputs. Every significant engagement activity should result in standardized data collection that becomes part of PCCEP's institutional record. The community engagement coordinator, me, is responsible for keeping and maintaining these records. In addition, the community engagement subcommittee should produce quarterly synthesis reports identifying recurring themes across multiple engagement activities. These reports should include the following: major themes consistently raised across quarterly engagement activities, emerging issues that may warrant future committee attention or policy discussion, Areas of consensus where community perspectives are broadly aligned, areas of divergence where perspectives differ across communities or stakeholder groups, communities engaged, including an assessment of which populations have been well represented and which may require additional outreach, reoccurring barriers to participation such as accessibility, language, scheduling, or trust concerns, and changes over time, noting whether community priorities or perceptions have shifted since previous reports. A couple more here. Potential implications for PCCEP recommendations, including opportunities to inform policy discussions or future work plans. Outstanding questions requiring additional engagement or information gathering. Recommended next steps, including future engagement priorities, partnerships, or outreach strategies. Now, the purpose of these reports is not to document individual events, but to identify patterns over time and ensure that community input is systematically retained and incorporated into PCCEP's work. So yeah, there's a few bullet points here, but yeah, I'd love to kind of hear regarding that. Yes.
So there was a note here that I agree with about making this more succinct, because it is a lot of words. Two areas that I think could help is that I feel like the third to last bullet and the last bullet are very similar to bullet 2. But I don't know if I'm the only one feeling that way. And the third to last bullet says potential implications for PCCEP recommendations, including opportunities to inform policy discussions or future work plans. The last bullet says recommended next steps, including future engagement priorities, partnerships, or outreach strategies. And the bullet that I think they sound like is emerging issues that may warrant future committee attention or policy discussions. So I feel like those three are very similar. And maybe there's something there that could like encompass all of them.
Work plans, okay.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, the points I was thinking about was like noting like so in these reports, I also think we should change the language at the beginning to say may include rather than will include. But I think the things here like are like in the report you may want to identify like, hey, policy and reform subcommittee, we strongly recommend you like dive into this, and then also having like a some analysis about like informing your future work. So like we know based on what we found already that we really need more outreach or engagement like on these areas. So that was like, but I agree, Leslie, I think that we could kind of convey that all in one line. And honestly, the second bullet or whatever it was might be succinct, and it just might like cover it and, you know, get the job done.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, yeah, I think this, and it wasn't the performance measures, it was this section that I was thinking, Tia, we could use as kind of like to create the framework for the report that we will produce.
Yes. Perfect.
Great. Thank you for that, Leslie. It's always nice to consolidate certain things, right? So thanks for bringing that up. Anything else we can think of?
Those were my only 2 comments in this section.
Great, great, great. Thank you for that.
The sentence that we said to omit above, is it for sure down here in outputs? I didn't write it down.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one where we said report from community engagement representing findings.
Yeah.
So I think it's covered
see it?
pretty well. I think it's covered pretty well in the standard output.
Okay, thanks.
because here in the intro we say produce quarterly synthesis reports identifying recurring themes across multiple engagement activities, and the sentence that you're referring to says report from community engagement presenting findings and themes from quarterly engagement and outreach activities. So I think it's already covered, so I think we can just remove that sentence. And that was B3 in section 4, B3.
Yeah. Good memory.
Oh, I have it. I'm not remembering. I have it up, so don't worry.
We have Yep. Oh, we have that on there. Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Leslie.
I'm not yeah.
And in the comment from Reverend Luke on including public comment input, we have that written several times in regards to us listening to the community, or are we for sure covering that? Us listening to the community and bringing their voice into the space or going to their space and
so we so in the first bullet here, we say major themes consistently raised across quarterly engagement activities. Maybe that's that could be amended to sorry, I just lost my train of thought, but you know, where we talk about the engagement commitments and we talk about the monthly, quarterly, ongoing, I think that's what that sentence is referencing, but maybe it's not super clear. So maybe instead, you know, in accordance to our engagement commitments or something like that.
Yes, and community engagement subcommittee, I'm hoping we can really, I know public comment on the website is read and delivered to all of us as a team by staff. But is it something where community engagement wants to make sure that we are watching for the public comment on our website and then responding to those, or have staff bring the public comment to awareness to us?
So I think the current process is that staff forwards the public comment. At least I've been getting the public we've been getting the public comment. So maybe that's something that we can discuss, if that process is still effective or how we can, you know, improve it. But it is noted in our community engagement objective, or not sorry, in our engagement commitment, that we are monitoring public comment, from all sources, I guess. So yeah, so with that, to kind of address the concern, maybe the standard output bullet 1, major things consistently raised across quarterly engagement activities. I think that makes sense as it is, but maybe if we want to be a little bit more precise, quarterly engagement commitments, so that we know we're referring back to that section where we're detailing out all of the things we do on a quarterly basis.
I would like that.
And then I don't know if we go even as far as to be see section blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But yeah. And that's just, you know, if we want to be overly, but we don't really do that anywhere else in the document, so maybe we don't need to.
Right.
But
Great, thank you for that.
Yeah, how I would envision that would be on these quarterly reports you make, which you know, we'll take a shot at that soon enough and kind of figure that process out. But you know, I'm sure you will also include some note about meetings like these that you had where there might have been some public comment, and especially when, you know, over the years there will be periods of time where PCCEP will hear a lot of public comments about the same thing. then I could definitely see that becoming like being noted for sure. And those historically have definitely informed the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Tori. Anything else?
Not for me.
No,
Great.
good.
I think
Thank
just
you.
one more
Yeah.
section. Right?
One more
Yeah.
section. We're doing great.
Cool.
Thanks for sticking with us here, y'all. So performance measures. First, who we engage. Participation from historically underrepresented communities. Community-based organizations represented. Geographic distribution across city council districts. Demographic information collected voluntarily, including race, ethnicity, age, gender, disability status, and relevant lived experience. What and how we engage. The number of engagement opportunities. In-person, hybrid, and virtual participation options. Attendance and public speakers. Accessibility services requested and utilized. Translation and language access provided. The quality of the engagement. When feasible, PCCEP should assess whether participant felt heard and respected, whether engagement was accessible and understandable, confidence that community input influences PCCEP's work, impact. Community engagement should ultimately be evaluated by its influence on PCCEP's work, including recommendations transmitted by city leadership or PPB, transmitted to city leadership or PBB, follow-up communication demonstrating how community input was used, and the trust piece, how to include this in a measurable way. So, yeah, folks, I would love to hear your feedback on this last section here.
So I had like I don't know, maybe I was like super tired reading this, but like performance measures didn't make sense to me as a title. But so like for a second I was like I wasn't sure what I was reading. But I wonder if like, because so like what we're really saying here is like what we're going to document as part of our process, right, is like who we engage, like what participation we have from historically underrepresented communities, community-based organizations represented. So like that, like I propose changing performance measures to maybe like metrics documented or something like that, something that refers more to like this is like the information we're documenting. Yeah, getting that a little bit more aligned.
I like that.
Thank you for that comment there, Leslie. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. But other than that, that was really was tripping me up because again, I must have been super tired because I was like, because that last bullet in who we engage, I was like, I read that like 5 times and I was like, what is this saying? But
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, totally. Hey, yeah, absolutely.
And then also in the second section, what and how we engage, I just think like how we engage is enough. I wasn't sure like what the what part of that was like alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agree.
Keep it simple there, like that. So you're just thinking who we engage, how we engage, and the quality of the engagement. Is that correct, Leslie, if I'm hearing that correctly?
In my opinion, yeah, that just kind of like the who, yeah. I think maybe like the purpose of that was like, because it's like usually the 5 W's or whatever, who, what, where, whatever. But yeah, I think if we just do who we engage, how we engage,
and the
I think
quality and impact there, yeah. So who, how, quality, impact.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, and then the number of engagement opportunities, yeah, I think that makes sense. I read that as like number of events attended, number of people spoken to, or spoken with.
Right.
So yeah, other than that, I'm good.
Great. Thank you.
And then this is more of a comment for like when we start implementing this plan, but like that quality of engagement piece I think is important. And I have questions of how we're gonna execute that. So that'll just kind of like earmark.
Right. Do we do
I
after
also-
action reports? Or
Yeah.
like after action surveys?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I think like we just need to figure out how we want to implement that. So yeah, it could be after action surveys, it could be yeah, so that's just more of like a let's put a earmark on that so that we can talk about it as a committee.
Yeah, I kind of included that as more of a stretch goal or a
Mhm.
consideration, but I don't know. Yeah, I think like we have enough trouble getting people to fill out like surveys about, you know, I don't want to say real things, but let's say like content. So
Concrete.
I think,
Yeah.
yes. So I think getting like an additional survey afterwards is going to be pretty dang
I
hard.
know.
Yeah.
But some people do want to say how they feel. And like, how
Yeah.
can
I
I
mean-
give input, or how can I tell someone what this was like for me?
It could
And
even
that
just be
sometimes
like
it's bad.
yeah, I think there's a way to maybe implement this, and like maybe this is like a phase 2. Once we get our process really dialed in, we figure out what something like this could look like.
Sure.
And so I like the adding when feasible piece because it makes
Right.
it less of a thing we need to do and more of like a if we have a chance to.
Yeah.
Barb noted in the comment like that maybe that what and how we engage should be changed to where and how we engage, and I'm okay with that as an alternate.
That would change the content under here, right?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily because we're talking about in-person, hybrid, virtual participation. So, but that's more like I still think how we engage is
Yeah.
sufficient.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Barb. Anything else on this? Okay.
Yeah, so the impact, that one is another section that I know, like, I really like the goals. I feel like it's so, like, subjective that I wanted to just hear more about how this section was crafted.
Yes, and the trust piece could be a full committee discussion.
Wait, the question is for impact?
Yeah, for impact.
Well, I guess how it was crafted. I mean, I was just thinking about the only the historically some of the metrics have been recommendations, whether they were approved, and a little bit of how they were implemented. So, and then the only other like sort of like the as far as like what the goals are or like the outputs for PCCEP that are like in your existing documents, it's the recommendations, the community connection piece, which is also nebulous, and then like this whole thing about trust. So I was basing it on the PCCEP plan and what is in there as sort of a goalpost, or a guidepost, but I don't know if, I mean, yeah, I think we all understand the difficulty with including something like trusts, which is why I didn't even attempt to write it.
Trusting PCEP, trusting police, trusting public
Trust.
safety.
Trust in PPB is what's
PP.
written, meaning
Yeah.
something meaningful trust in, and I'm trying to remember the exact language, but yeah. Could say something like, the bullet point could be more like realizing goals as stated under the PCEP plan, including improving community police relationships, trust that community input will be used in a meaningful way, something like that. I don't know. That might be a little bit more tangible.
Yeah, I think I like that route a little bit more, and then linking the PCEP plan.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. So, like, community engagement should ultimately be evaluated by its influence on PCEP's work as defined, or like in the PCEP plan, including, like, I honestly feel like we don't need to restate it, and then it could just go, the primary measure of success is whether community input is documented, retained, and demonstrably incorporated into PCEP's priorities.
Yeah,
so we,
I like that.
Cut out all the bullets and then just say, like, on PCEP's work as defined in the PCEP plan, and link the plan.
That sounds good. All right.
Anything else on here?
I don't have anything, but I think once we make these updates, obviously this meeting will be available for the other members to view, and we should send it around again once these updates are made for, like, final committee, to the point of, like, how do we approve this so we are not sitting on it until the next committee meeting, because it seems like again, this is like a different document that is not applicable everywhere. It sounds like we could, as a committee, just approve it via email.
I think you can handle that way, if that feels good to you. Yeah.
Could it be an update at the full subcommittee meeting, maybe? I don't know. Like, it could be an update, or we bring it to the full committee.
When is let me at the calendar?
Just so all community sees it.
Oh yeah, the all committee was, so just kind of like as confirm, I think once this subcommittee is good, finalizes this document, everybody's like squared away, and if you're good with it, Tia, because the other members couldn't be here, we can approve the document via email. Once that's all buttoned up, then we can send it to the whole committee so that everybody can take a look at it and provide their input.
Okay.
And at whatever following full committee meeting, we could meet and talk through it, and vote to approve it.
Sounds good.
But that gives I'm always like, deadline focus. The next full committee meeting that I have, I think I went.
It's July 1st.
Oh, it's July 1st. So I don't know if it's feasible to do the update.
It might be. We can resolve that.
Okay. Okay. Because I'm just thinking we also want to give the full committee time to review the document.
Yeah.
And then our committee needs to agree on the edits. So
Okay.
with that, Iman and Dory, like, when do you think you can have a revised draft?
Okay. That sounds good to me. Thank you.
I would say, yeah, like sometime next week for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we would have to get it through our committee, our subcommittee, fast before the July 1st meeting.
Great.
Do
Thank
we? And then it has to also be available for the public to see, right? If it's a document that we're reviewing in the meeting.
Yeah, we would post that with meeting
New
materials.
documents.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just thinking we only really have 2 weeks. So so do we think we can get it through our committee and everything, and have it to the full committee by the 29th?
Yes.
Yeah, I think let's not lock in on any. We can discuss this because we need to kind of touch base with the full committee chairs to see if it's something that they want on the agenda. So
That's a good point.
we will do that, but I think all of that is totally feasible if that is the route we choose to take in terms
Okay,
of.
sounds good. Cool.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So is that the discussion for the plan there, Dory?
I
We're all
think
good?
so, yeah.
Yeah, we're all good on
Yeah.
that.
I think we're good to go. Yeah, thank you guys for your good work on that, and thanks to the folks who were asking questions along the way, and Kip as well. We can accomplish a lot even with a small team, so appreciate it.
Fantastic. So I guess we can go over the last couple slides before we get into opening up to any public comment or anything like that. Do we want to take any public comment on the doc here, or should we just wait until the very end?
We absolutely can. We can kind of do it all together if that works for folks, since we have about 15 minutes left. What do you guys think, Leslie?
I would vote that we do the updates because they're quick, and then do the public document or the public comment all together.
Okay. That works. There are a couple more slides in there.
Yes.
If I can.
I'm trying to find the agenda.
I got that there. Here you go.
This is an accident. Just all we have left is the open public comment one.
Okay, then never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that worked out.
Okay, then for public comment. Do we have any comments about the items that we discussed today? You know, what would you like to see PCCEP work on next? Anything else? So feel free to stop the share here. Feel free to raise your hand or hop on the chat. Barb, what's going on?
Why do you people always make me go first? Oh, first of all and foremost, I bristled every time you said bullet instead of dot in the name of Dan Handelman. It just obviously he really left a mark on me. So I have some questions, and this is just all about the document at this point. Who are these stakeholders is my first question. As in, am I a stakeholder, or are we talking about the Amici and the DOJ or whatever? That's my first question. My second question is, I asked a question in the chat about whether the document was for the full committee are for the Community Engagement Committee and got different answers from Leslie and Dory.
No,
And,
I don't.
okay.
Yeah.
And finally, where'd you get your new logo? It's kind of interesting. That's it.
More or less interesting than the old one.
Easier to read, but I truly believe that there's people, a lot of people, that you can say, do you know what PCCEP is? And they'll say no. And then Portland Committee on Community, they know it by either one or the other, but they don't connect the two. That's it.
Well, Leslie and I think we responded. We had the same response. This is a plan for the full committee with a specific subsection about the community engagement subcommittee. Leslie and Tia, do you want to speak to the stakeholder question?
I was just about to. I was just about to give some examples, but Barb, the stakeholders are agencies like mental health agencies, agency that advocate for our marginalized communities, city leaderships, faith communities, community advocates. Just there's so many people we outreach to. I mean, there's a long list of people who are committed to working in public safety that we are connected with. Community fellows like yourself, Barb, you're on our list of people.
That's part of what all I really wanted to know was if it was only the Amici or if you guys were working from that list and it was broader.
It's broad.
And again, if you want help with the county, I'm happy to connect you guys.
Yeah. County organizations are on the list. Yes. Mental health, public health.
It's really everyone impacted by public safety, which
Yeah.
is everyone.
There you go.
And that's where this community engagement effort is focused on, trying to get as many of those voices into this space so that we can help build a public safety system that works for the city. And then there was another of your questions. There's a third part to your question.
It was about the logo.
The logo.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Any other folks for public comment?
I really appreciate a small but mighty group. You all got so much done. The writing was excellent, and I especially appreciate the idea to hyperlink with the DOJ document. That should be a part of that's really reaching out, and that was a part of the process for the settlement agreement. So thank you for acknowledging that and building on it. Very productive meeting. Thank you.
Antoinette?
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, and hope you're doing well.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Tia.
Yes. Nice to see you.
Nice to be seen.
Yay.
I'm still learning. I have no
Nice.
question. Still, I don't.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Great. Do we have, if we have nothing else, yeah, thank you everybody to your input. We actually have.
Slide.
I saw hands up. Did I see a hand up?
It was my hand up. You said you're still learning, and
I said it.
Who said it?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm new to the whole process, so.
Have you looked at the League of Women Voters website for the history of Portland?
No.
Well,
Did that
kind of outlines everything.
Mhm.
League of Women Voters. Okay.
Don't we have a person from that organization who frequently is here?
Oh,
Debbie
Yeah.
is here.
I'm here. So the history of what?
Well, the history of Portland and the police department, for one thing.
We did that study several years ago about the Portland Police Bureau. So if you look at League of Women Voters, I mean, if you're going to be on for a couple more minutes, I can find the link and put it in the chat. Would that be the best thing to do?
oh, I can just look on the League of Women Voters website. Now I'm going to read the hyperlink that you're going to add to the document.
Make sure you're looking at the League of Women Voters of Portland.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's under studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, that'll be good. And the hyperlink that explains the whole settlement. Right. Appreciate everybody.
We love sharing resources and information, and we're all still learning here, so we're happy to have you.
I think that's part of the new subcommittee charter, right? Collaborate, inform. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Great point, Kip.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm glad I can contribute.
I was just thinking we're always learning.
Every day.
Sure.
That's for sure.
Reverend Luke, I see your hand up.
Is there still a chance for public comment, Lori?
Absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Great. I remembered something I needed to bring up. It's urgent. I attended the Lentz Neighborhood Livability Association meeting, this last one, and there was a huge focus on public safety. And I asked whether they had connected with the Portland Committee on Community Policing. They said, yeah. It didn't really sound very substantial, yeah. But I thought to ask the question here also and bring attention to this initiative that's circulating to take money from the Clean Energy Fund to bolster the police force. And I haven't signed it myself, but it seems like an issue to focus on also. Any feedback, comments?
I think we're still evaluating that as a committee. I don't think we're prepared to, as part of our work, we always take that public comment and then decide, how to engage. So, yeah, that's definitely something that's on our radar, and we're trying to see how we can work on it.
Yeah, definitely coming up a lot. I know, yeah, committee members have been discussing that, so we appreciate you raising that, and yeah, interesting to hear it coming up in different contexts as well. Oh, go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah, we at Portland Cop Watch are very concerned about that petition because we don't think it reflects the is very necessarily accurate. Like they take a lot of credit for when violence decreases, where actually maybe it's other organizations like, violence prevention groups and Portland Street Response. And there's just like a bias in the police department about needing to send out armed sworn officers. And a lot of us think that's a big problem. And if you don't think it's a big problem, I would suggest that, people say, oh, but what if somebody has a gun or something? Well, I looked at the I keep bringing this up, Eric Schur. If you look on the PPB website, Death in Custody, look at the body cam footage. And I'm not even talking about how he's being treated. I live in a much smaller multifamily condominium association, and I hope that never happens in my place, that somebody's on campus or one of my neighbors goes crazy and all that happens. It was terrible for the residents and for the police. They got exposed to 2 different kinds of tear gas. It was terrible. And so somehow there has to be another way. But they always think we need more armed police officers. So I don't know what to say. Anyway.
I don't think we're going to change what they think.
Right, but the public doesn't have to sign that petition, and I think there's the petition. I've had people ask me to sign it, and I am not happy with that petition. Let's just say.
I hope you keep telling everybody who asks you to sign it why you don't sign it.
Yep, I will.
Thanks, we'll definitely document these public comments as always per our discussion earlier. So thanks for sharing that.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, thank you so much to our PCEP members, the members of the public, and just everybody providing support tonight. Just a quick reminder that our next meeting is the Policy and Reform Subcommittee on Wednesday, June 24th, 6 to 8 on Zoom. You can learn more about PCEP at our website, portland.gov/PCEP, and then you could submit public comment on there as well. So yeah, that's all I have on my side. Thank you all so much for your time. And it's still quite daylight outside, so it's beautiful outside. I hope you all can get a little bit of sunshine, maybe go on a nice walk as the day is coming to an end. So if there's nothing else, thank you all very much, and have a great evening.
Thanks.
Much
Thank
love.
you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Good
so much.
night.
See you later.
Thanks for being here.